We have now a question from social media, Neil. You have said that in a few years we will forget what life was like until 2019. How does that impact the current moment? When are we beginning to overcome the pandemic?
A peculiar feature of our collective psychology as a species is that we have a kind of amnesia. We don't remember that clearly what life was like before 9/11, for example. We got very accustomed to standing in lines and taking our shoes off when we get onto planes. We got used to all kinds of barricades and barriers in sensitive parts of capital cities, and we no longer think too much about it. We don't remember how easy it used to be to get on a plane. We don't remember, in fact, terribly clearly what the pre-9/11 world was like. The same is true for a lot of changes. If I could take you in a time machine back to the 1970s, when I was a teenager, we'd all be shocked, including me, by the amount of smoking, drinking, and gross behavior that we encountered, the amount of routine sexism and racism in conversation. So the past in some ways is another country. And even although we lived there, we don't remember too clearly what it's like. That means that the longer certain things persist, like mask wearing or testing for COVID or restrictions related to COVID, the more we're likely to get used to them. One of my worries is that we'll still be filling in forms and having tests done to get on planes or get into offices long after these measures are unnecessary, long after COVID has become endemic rather than a pandemic. And the longer these things go on, the more we'll get used to them until we just put up with them the way we put up with those wretched security lines at airports. I'm really a big believer that emergency measures are for emergencies only, and it's important to recognize when an emergency is coming to an end. I see all around me at Stanford University people behaving in ways that make no sense at all, riding around on their bicycles with face masks on. It seemed to me for months to be obvious that it's very hard indeed to get COVID-19 outdoors, that it's practically impossible to get it on a bicycle. And in a county like the one that I'm in, where there are almost no cases of COVID now, you're achieving absolutely nothing by wearing a mask, except maybe signaling that you are a political liberal. But that's the kind of thing that I think will persist. And we are going to, I think, get rather too used to mask wearing. My kids wear masks in school right now. They've been doing it for a very long time. I think it's unnecessary now and probably not very good for their education. But we have a terrible problem of inertia. And this inertia is made worse by the bureaucracies that have sprung up in the world over the last century or so, and particularly since the 1970s. Unfortunately, COVID has been an incredibly good opportunity for the world's bureaucracies to create more regulations and increase their power over our daily lives.